Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Michael B, and there's been no question that things have been looking pretty grim in the home arcade community because all these new products that we thought were coming out didn't look like they were going to eventually happen due to the reciprocal tariffs on China. But some recent news has given us a brand new hope that things may get back on track. So that's right, guys. We got some interesting news to share with you guys today about a potential exemption on the reciprocal tariffs being applied to goods from China right now that could greatly impact home arcade and the video game landscape. So I'm going to explain how that's going to affect all these companies and why it might still be too early to find out if this will put us back on track. But before we get into that, I want to say thank you so much, everybody, for checking out the video. Guys, I always appreciate the support. If this is your first time to the channel, you like what you see, go ahead, subscribe, click the bell for notification, all that YouTube jazz. So unless you've been hiding under a rock, the main talking point in the home arcade community over the course of the last week has been the reciprocal tariffs placed on goods made in China and how it would impact the home arcade community. With tariffs jumping as high as 184%, many companies such as the Build-A-Cade, FU, GRS Studios, Glenn's Retro Show, has come out and said that they're going to have to pause the Kickstarter on the GRS Build-A-Cade FU. I was able to jump on a stream with both James Hates Everything and Glenn last week. I covered it in my Chillin' Chat last Monday night as well as many other people in the space have been covering this devastating impact to all these products we were hoping to get this year. And things did look bleak until this news broke just yesterday that some of the products made in China are going to be exempt from the reciprocal tariffs. So right now they're saying smartphones, computers are now exempt from Trump's latest tariffs. To go into explain a little bit better, electronics imported to the United States will be exempt from President Donald Trump's reciprocal tariffs, according to a U.S. Customs and Border Protection notice posted late Friday. Smartphones, computer monitors, and various electronic parts are among the exempted products. This exemption applies to products entering the United States or removed from warehouses as early as April 5th, according to the notice. Well, according to this latest news, I can't say anything, but this is hope. This is hope that some of the companies and products in the video game space we were concerned about that would be affected by tariffs that may delay delivery or may halt production altogether, there's now a path forward. Now, it's not going to be one for one. This doesn't mean everything's going to come out. So let's take a look at all the different products, and I'll try my best to explain, based on my understanding, how it's going to impact them. First up, of course, is the Nintendo Switch 2, which we know famously was supposed to go up for pre-order April 9th. It has since then been taken down. Some countries still were able to place their pre-orders, like the UK, but in North America, mostly the US and Canada, those pre-orders were delayed. But now with this exemption in place, and considering that this is mostly all computer stuff made in China or a small amount made in Vietnam, we should be back on track with the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, where this gets a little bit trickier is home arcade products, because it's not just the technological parts that are produced in China. It's actually a lot of the build and construction. So that's the part that's going to be a little unclear here. Some things are more clear than others. So first up, I want to talk about Basic Fun, and this is one of the companies we've been the most excited about, the new player in the home arcade space, looking to come in and basically pick up the slack directly where Arcade 1-Up left off. They did post on social media and did put out a press release that these reciprocal tariffs were going to halt all production. But now, with this new piece of information, it's hopeful that at least the arcade section will be able to get back up and running. Well, it's not necessarily that straightforward. You see, the majority of their products are still basically toys, so I don't know if they can segregate the sections just build the home arcade stuff while everything else is still on hold? Or does it mean that everything is still going to be on hold and they can't ramp up production for one product without ramping up production for the other products? That's still very unclear. And like we're going to talk about with the rest of these products, the computer components, which are being explained right now, are exempt, but the rest of the building materials, all that stuff for the home arcade products, which are considered toys, as we know from a licensing standpoint, may not be exempt. So they might be able to save some money on the monitors, some money on the electrical components, but they're still going to have to pay certain fees on some of the other materials. So it's kind of a gray area right now, but at least there's hope. Now, one product we haven't really gotten any answers on in a very long time is, of course, the Iconic Arcade, which is slated to come out the beginning of June. This went up for pre-orders early January, and we have heard really nothing from them regarding the situation with the tariffs. We did have a little bit of a news item come up a few weeks ago or a few months ago now, talking about the potential that there's a legal dispute going on between Arcade 1-Up and Iconic Arcade, and to this date, you still cannot get into the pre-orders on the Iconic Arcade website. You click the button here and nothing happens. So right now, there's still a lot of questions to be answered about Iconic Arcade, but at least the electronical component part, the monitors, the chipsets, all that stuff, now seem to be exempt. Speaking of mysteries with products, we also have the Legends 4K arcade coming soon. So many questions. When we originally seen this thing, it was a different shape. It had the Killer Instinct graphics on it. We got this teaser, and it kind of floored everybody because they said, okay, are they gone back to the original model? So many questions. Are they still doing Killer Instinct? How's this going to work? This is a big question mark. Like everybody else, now, with the exemption from those tariffs, we know that they can get their electronic components tariff-free. Well, not exactly tariff-free. There's still a standard 10% tariff. We know that can be done. But, of course, like the others in the home arcade space, the building materials, the wood, all that stuff may still be applied to the tariffs, the reciprocal tariffs. So there's still a ton of questions. What's going on with this? AtGames have not been quiet about the tariff situation. They've been openly telling people, buy our stuff now before the tariffs go into effect. So obviously, this is something that they're showing up front. They're not going to eat the tariffs. Prices are going to go up. Sales aren't going to be as abundant as they were previously. What's going to happen with the AtGames Legends Ultimate 4K Arcade? We saw the original price point of, I think it was like $12.99 that they were going to be selling for. And of course, we thought there was probably going to be a sale around $1,000. How much is it going to be with these tariffs in place? We should find out soon. What's going on with the Legends Ultimate 4K? Mystery. But again, this now opens the path with these exemptions. Now, the one we talked about at the beginning of the show, I had the pleasure of being on a stream with Glenn talking about how the reciprocal tariffs were affecting his bid to get the GRS Build-A-Cade FU Kickstarter up and running, and we knew his standpoint. He just cannot justify increasing the price to get this arcade out there. He's going to put it on hold. Now, hopefully, Glenn's original numbers were working on what the tariffs were before. With this exemption, Glenn's going to have to do some math, and we may be able to get the GRS Build-A-Cade FU Kickstarter back on the go based on the original, I think it was like 50% tariffs or anything like that. With the exemptions on certain items for the Build-A-Cade, maybe now they can rework the math and we can get this project back on track. And last but not least, Wonderland Amusements. This has to be nothing but good news for them. They had already told us that they were moving forward with the Alice Goes to Wonderland pinball. They were going to eat the tariffs. Now the tariffs are going to be less impactful upon them, as, you know, certain electronic components that are in the machine are now in fact going to be tariff free. They won't be completely exempt, we know 10%, but we also know there's other parts that go into this machine that they're still going to have to pay. However, the electrical components now will give them a little bit more breathing room so that these can get their original machines out without coming into a loss, putting them out to the public. So guys, just a little bit of quick news. In my opinion, this is nothing but a good thing. The fact that there is exemptions to these reciprocal tariffs, it was looking pretty dark there for a while for video games, home arcade, all that stuff produced in China for people in the US. And like I noticed, even though I'm here in Canada, there was still, some casualties of that as well. Prices were still going to go up for us Canadians, and we still had delays, even though products were going to be coming directly here, aka the Nintendo Switch 2. It looks like the people coming out of this the best are, of course, the biggest, Nintendo. The Nintendo Switch 2 should be pretty much 100% back on track. In fact, the CNN article directly mentions the Nintendo Switch 2, so we should get a pre-order for that any day now. But there is some hope in the home arcade community as well, because even though it looks like the tariffs won't be completely wiped out, certain parts of these machines are in fact going to be exempt, which then creates a little bit more breathing room for the companies. Hopefully they can either eat the costs, like we're seeing Wonderland doing, rework the math, hopefully like Glenn's going to do, or we can do something to get these products back on the go for us, because home arcade has been boring now for, the last year or so. Then we got a lot of hope with all these companies mentioning new products. Then that hope was dashed because the reciprocal tariffs came in and we were like, now nothing's coming out. But here we are a week later and there is a path forward, and that's exciting. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of this new news about the exemptions to the reciprocal tariffs on China? Do you think this is a good thing for home arcade? Do you think this is going to get us back on track and we are going to get some of these cool products in 2025? Let me know down below. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. This is Michael B. the Game Genie. I'll talk to you next time.